Welcome to Indianapolis, Indiana. At Gainbridge, Garland as well as Evan Mobley in their starting lineup. Jarrett Allen wins the tip here. Indiana a 2-0 series lead. Here is Garland shoveling to Allen. Good looking possession here. Strus connects on a three. Number one thing Kenny Atkinson told us before the game was we just need to make shots. We have missed so many open looks in this series. Cavs went 9 of 38 from three in game one, 11 of 39 in game two.
And you totaled that up, Double R. It is 26%. So there's been a lot of talk about Boston Celtics shooting only 25% from three, but you're also talking about the number one seed only shooting 26 as well.
Halliburton misses the banker. Mobley lost the rebound, but it caroms right to Garland.
I can tell you early, I love the way that Darius Garland is moving to start this game.
He's dealing with a sprained toe and looks spry. Here's Mitchell. Nice find. Mobley dropped it, and Siakam comes up with a steal. Here's Halliburton. They want to get it to Siakam with the matchup on Mitchell. Fading, can't hit.
And that's a win by Donovan Mitchell, forcing Pascal Siakam to shoot the turnaround, but tried to do it before the double team got there.
Strus deep three is off. Long rebound. Strus flagged it down. Here is Garland.
That was an area of concern for Rick Carlisle. They've given up 13 and 14 offensive rebounds respectively. He said that's one of the things they're going to have to do better here at home because he knows Cleveland's going to come out and give them a huge punch early. Two, you consider the fact that if that's an area
needed to get better from games 1 and 2, securing the defensive glass. They went through some film on it, and again it's a problem, this time off the free throw. And you know, where is that calm coming from down 2-0? And he said, I love our group, I love our leadership, and I've loved our process in these games. The results have not been what we've wanted, but I still feel really good. Obviously getting back three key members helps as well, as Nembhard can't hit. Rebound.
Talk about that confidence. Coach Atkinson was much more confident knowing that he had those three guys that were going to be in the lineup. Two of those guys all-stars, and another in the running for Sixth Man of the Year.
Here's Strus attacking the closeout. Strus, a tough take, and an 8-0 start to game 3 for Cleveland.
And Ryan, we talked about how important that would be. And one thing that you as coaches you always hear is don't allow one game to lose us two. And this start by the Cleveland Cavaliers shown that they've put that loss, that comeback loss behind them.
Halliburton gets denied controlled by Cleveland. They have numbers. Mitchell shovels, Garland fakes, dishes in the corner. Strus a three. You bet. An 11-0 punch from Cleveland out of the gates in game 3.
But how about 2 of 3 from beyond the three-point arc already? We mentioned only shooting 26%, and the Cleveland Cavaliers coming in shooting better on the road.
As Turner gets agent to be. It is time for the TNT Sunday against Pacers. For more on these games, please go to NBA.com or visit the NBA app. I mean, these series have just been fantastic.
The playoffs have been fantastic.
Yeah.
You consider the treat that we've had this year with the first round series and now what we've gotten in the second round, the conference semi. Garland and Mobley, both these guys showing a little rust early in the game. We saw Mobley mishandle a basketball in a previous possession.
You see Mobley drop a couple. He dropped a rebound earlier too. Yeah. Here's Siakam tiptoeing baseline. Siakam looking to finagle his way to space. Turner on the attack.
Back to for free throws 3 and 4.
No, just to go limitations they may or may not have from their injuries. For Garland, conditioning for us off the top of the broadcast because it's been 2 weeks since he played, and Kenny Atkinson told Garland, you just got to be honest with me. I promise you, if you need a blow, I will get you back in the game quickly. But we got to make sure that you can continue to play at the speed that you're used to for the minutes you are out there.
But for what we've seen, Garland is probably in better shape right now than has been Mobley. But those 5 days, especially at this time of year, can truly throw off your timing. I believe that's where Mobley is lacking early in this game.
Siakam a three. Back ironing off. Allen the rebound. Indiana has scored 4 straight. Here's Mitchell at 48 in game 2. The swim move. Couldn't hook it in. Allen the rebound and the putback. Indiana upset. Felt like Allen pushed off Turner. To the naked eye, looked like they had a case.
Those two guys played at Texas. I'm sure they played pickup. They fouled each other much harder than that.
Halliburton, beautiful dish, and then Mobley on the rejection. Able to alter that attempt from Siakam. Mitchell a three is good. Biggs.
Probably the easiest look that Donovan Mitchell has gotten in this series. And you think about the fact that he hasn't had to work as hard.
Gas Donovan Mitchell was. He didn't play.
It's Neesmith, it's Halliburton. Everyone has to be given to a different ball handler. But Indiana brings everyone up. So therefore, you all have to be ready to handle the basketball. Put so much pressure on Donovan Mitchell in the first two games playing without Darius Garland.
Here's Mitchell spinning into the paint, exploding, and finish.
Playing against the backup point guard, which relieves a little of the pressure. Todd in game one, I think we'll see a more confident Todd with this. However, they weren't able to hang on at the end. But it was important for the Cavs to be able to get off to this great start, to erase what happened to them last time out. And look at DeAndre Hunter back into the game as well after missing game two with a huge rebound.
Oh, Mitchell slides in, couldn't finish it. Turner came over. Here's McConnell shoveling back. Turner a three is good.
Leaders. And Kenny Atkinson told us he was one of the guys that stood up and was talking in their meeting after that loss, that heartbreaking loss in game two, and sharing his voice.
Corey, I was able to catch up with Max Strus as well, and he's...
Alec was still lying. Kenny Atkinson told us, okay, what do we need to do on the floor to get better and get back into this series? They've checked the boxes thus far. In this first quarter, a 20-8 lead. Miles Turner has scored all 8 for Indiana as McConnell misses the reverse.
I understand how important he is to this Cavaliers team, so he's already picked up one foul. You can get another one on him and get him out of the game because they know how dangerous he can be off the bench.
Garland connects on a three.
That's got to feel good for DG to see one go down early on this comeback game. I don't believe he took a shot in his first stint on the floor, but now coming back off the bench, giving Donovan Mitchell a break, is able to knock down the three ball.
1 of 1, and Cleveland is 4 of 5 from 3. That was Kenny Atkinson's #1 key today. Make shots. Turner is doing that. He has all 10.
Comfortable taking advantage of that mismatch when you're playing against with a small behind him than he has been in the past. Normally he would still float around on the perimeter. Now he's going down punishing guys in the post.
Jerome able to hit the floater. His first field goal attempt of the game after a 1 for 14 game 2. McConnell lobbing it in. And personals. Hey, the NBA series against the Knicks.
Well, you need to see Jason Tatum, but one of the things that you need to see is, and I remind people, 2 seasons ago, we saw this exact same thing. Jason Tatum struggled in back-to-back games against the Philadelphia 76ers in round 2. Not only did he make a strong comeback in game 6 in the fourth quarter, he went on in game 7 and broke a game 7 record, 51 points. So I believe we're going to see JT respond in the Garden tomorrow.
Mathurin on a three.
These paces as well. When you come off the bench with Benedict Mathurin, he provides instant offense, also a defensive presence.
Mobley couldn't finish, neither could Jerome. Here comes McConnell with haste, the lob, Turner, the finish. 1-0 run. Jerome probing. 2 seconds. Lost.
One left their man gave Ty Jerome no outlet.
Mathurin again.
Point game off the bench and off to a great start here as the bench has given the Pacers a huge lift.
Mobley gets a clean look and drills it from
2 for 5 from 3 in game 1 has shown throughout this season he can stretch it from beyond the arc, and he has to be guarded. Out to 23-9.
Yeah, shot it at 37% as Halliburton's runner goes. Shot it at 37% at Mobley and took over 3 threes a game. By far and away a career high in attempts. Previously was at about 1.3 as
mentioned that he was going to rely on you guys to communicate if you were tired, but knowing that there's a lot on the line, how do you feel about what you were able to accomplish and what DG and DeAndre Hunter have been able to?
It was a pretty good quarter so far. We just got to put together 3 more quarters.
Thanks.
Yep.
I thank you to Evan Mobley, Angel Gray. Cavs score off the turnover to begin the second. Indiana ended that first quarter on a 22-7 run after they had fallen behind by 15.
That's the first points off of turnovers for the Cavs in this game. Only one first quarter turnover for Indiana, so even though they didn't get off to a great start, they weren't turning the basketball over, but they did give up 7 offensive rebounds.
Mitchell back ironing off. Siakam, what a dart, and Mathurin gets hooked.
In the replay.
And match games for Indiana when they have been down. Whether
he checked in, knocked down at 3, and really got it going for the Pacers on the offensive end of the floor as he lines up another, unable to get it to go. As
here's Mitchell trying to get that handoff, wrestled it away, threw it into traffic. Mobley finds Hunter cutting and finishing. DeAndre Hunter then seemingly in pain afterwards, grimacing as he comes back up the floor. Siakam takes advantage, 5 on 4.
And Hunter looked to jump awkwardly on that possession, and maybe he ran into one of the Pacer defenders on his way to the basket.
Mobley strong take. Now Mobley missed last game with an ankle. Hunter missed it with a thumb. Garland hadn't played since game 2 of the first round because of a sprained toe. Garland on the bench right now with 3 fouls, but looked really good in his minutes as far as his pace and mobility went.
He really did, and you consider the fact that having that additional ball handler takes a lot of pressure away from Donovan Mitchell. Great job by the Cavs coming up with that defensive rebound after 2 different Pacers got a hand on it.
Here's Hunter. Hunter and a reaching.
Long coming off the bench, whether it was for the Hawks or now for the Cavs.
Here's Mitchell. Mitchell dishes to the corner. Strus wide open. Connects. Not a 3.
Strus had enough time to find the seams on that one. Gathered himself. That's a practice shot right there for a guy that's already made 2 early in this game.
Hey, play through. Come on. Let's go, baby. Hey, big run right here. Hey, big push right here. We're in a good spot, Mike. We started slow, but we're in a great spot, bro.
Some good stuff from
on the bench, or if that's in a timeout, but either way, Tyrese Haliburton
key tonight was going to be staying poised. Here's throw. Of course, if you're the Cavs, you have to be thinking deja vu when you see yourself cough up a big lead right away, but Cavs did a nice job responding to begin this second. 6-point advantage now for Cleveland.
And the zone has helped the Cavs in this second quarter as you see the activity. Sam Merrill getting out and making things difficult for everyone on the perimeter for the Indiana Pacers. This is the first time the Pacers have really seen this zone in the series.
Merrill can't hit the 3, rebound Siakam. Here comes Siakam. Siakam darting through and a whistle. Free throw. Indiana in game 3. Siakam misses both. Look at the tip. Nesmith had that key putback. Even though the last 2-minute report said should have been a lane violation against him for it. But another putback there from Nesmith.
And Nesmith just a hard to deal with on the glass, especially on the offensive end, as Donovan Mitchell unable to get the 3 to go. And right now the Pacers wanting to continue to push the tempo, especially if they can beat the defense down before they set up in the zone.
Was shooting 57% from 3. Since then averaging under 13, 22% from 3. Siakam 1 of 4 so far tonight from the floor. Allen had it poked away by Turner out there playing with 2 fouls. Here's Nesmith, catch, fire, no. Mitchell 8 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Mitchell, no look, good movement here. Strus waits, attacks. Mitchell swims in and floats it home. That patent
by Nesmith, but there's just not much you can do to combat that against Donovan Mitchell.
Turner into the corner. Nesmith off. Indiana 5 of 12 from 3. Cleveland 6 for 14, but they started 4 of 5. Hunter, no. And that's... Meanwhile, Garland, we'll see how he navigates his second quarter with those 3 personals. Garland navigated well there.
And how about the trust of Kenny Atkinson to get Darius Garland back in the game with those 3 fouls, understanding how important it was to try to keep this lead going into halftime.
8-point Cavs lead. Haliburton flips it out. Turner 3 around and off. Mobley the rebound. Here's Mobley trying to take it all the way in. Mobley gets denied. Shovels it out. Push shot is good for Allen.
To it. I'm not sure how acclimated the Thunder can get in such a short span of time.
12-2, Cavs run. Their lead is 10. They had a 15-point lead completely erased in the first. Toppin is short. Strus, the strong side rebound.
But look what the zone has done to the Pacers. It's forced everything from the exterior.
Strus, another offensive rebound for Cleveland. Mitchell fake the three, just 2 of 18 from 3 entering tonight's game. He's 1 of 3 tonight. Mitchell sidestepping 3 is good. Donovan's quarter is 0 of 7 in the second against this zone. Here's Neesmith, push shot, no. Mitchell lobbing it up. Allen goes up high to grab it. Strus will fire off.
I believe if Allen would have tried to finish that up with the dunk, he most likely would have gotten the call on the foul simply because it would have been such an acrobatic play and it would have taken a lot constantly at this level.
Smart of Mathurin, but
yes.
if you're Derek
chest right now, and the fact that Kenny Atkinson goes to the zone defensively, but look at he switched the personnel. Now it's Evan Mobley at the top of the zone, which takes away your sight lines for those guards trying to get opportunities at the top.
Turner unable to finish. Garland on the bench with 4 fouls. Allen roaming through. Heat story the other day in the Athletic. And him coming to terms with his mental health in the aftermath of the Olympics and the way it affected him at the beginning of this season, kind of just reading too much negativity and having to really clear his mind, get back to finding the joy of playing. And how that and really important mental health conversations with his circle and his therapist brought him back to the outstanding season he ended up having at the finish and the playoffs he's had.
Yeah, you think about mental health, especially at the NBA.
Is his second. Halliburton also talked about in that story Drew Hanlon being a huge resource for him in those conversations. Here's Merrill off to Mitchell. Mitchell finds space. Little push shot is good. 15 for Donovan Mitchell.
And Donovan Mitchell has averaged 30 field goal attempts throughout these first 2 games. And you think about right now, he's in double digits with, I believe, 12 now, but he's still being much more efficient.
Knocked away. Mitchell has it. Allen on the run through the lane, extra feed. Mobley lead in the first. Indiana stormed back to tie it at 32 at the end of the quarter, and then Cleveland built that lead up with a 34-13 second. Indiana 0 of 11 from 3 in that second, 0 of 4 against that zone, and 3 of 11 overall from the floor against the zone. For a Pacers update, let's send things over to Angel Gray.
Well, I was able to catch up with the staff for the Pacers, and I just specifically went to the numbers. He said, well, that's exactly what we have been talking about at halftime. Corey, you mentioned 0 for 11 from 3 in the second quarter because of the zone, but he said these are the numbers that we have been harping to our team. We are 6 for 19, chasing 50-50 balls. We are
astonishing in the first half. A 13-2 edge for Cleveland, a 21-4 edge in second chance points. Siakam's shot is just off, and you can see him trying to guide it in that time.
You start to think about it, Laura, when you consider a guy that's made so many big shots throughout his career and the way that he's taken his time and trying to line up, almost aiming those threes. And you can see that he's not playing bite, and that's exactly what they have done throughout this first half. And now they start out the second half in a similar fashion.
Donovan Mitchell picks up his 3rd personal. Darius Garland had 4 fouls in the first half. Out there, good contest there from Garland on Neesmith. Here is Mitchell. Allen off to Strus. Garland catch fire, making Mitchell on a 3 as Donovan Mitchell has 20 points now. He's 8 for 16 from the floor, 3 of 6 from 3. Good sign for Mitchell after he had really struggled from three through the first two games, was 2 for 18.
The double R, 2 of those 3 threes are catch and shoot threes. Another catch and shoot opportunity. He's unable to get it to go, but he wasn't getting those shots in the first 2 games. He had to create all of his opportunities off the bounce.
Here's Siakam, the Euro, and the finish.
Siakam going 1-on-3 on that possession and getting the bucket still. Barely escaped the hand of Evan Mobley coming in to try to block that shot.
Garland wiggling through traffic. Off to Allen. Allen with the step on Turner slams it down.
And another uncharacteristic turnover by Nembhard. We've seen one from Halliburton in this first half, another one by Nembhard. You don't often see this from the Pacers.
Garland back ironing off. Mitchell another O board for Cleveland. Mobley working Nembhard. Here's Mobley. Backing him down. But you have felt his impact in the way he has just created rhythm for this Cavs offense.
And I believe he's taken so much of the pressure off of Donovan Mitchell to have to do everything on the offensive end of the floor. That in itself has been productive for Darius Garland being on the court.
Mitchell with a fading shot clock. Another offensive rebound. His second. It's been a very quiet night for Tyrese Halliburton. 1 of 6 from the floor.
Out of it. That means that the driving lanes are going to be cut off for Tyrese Halliburton. That's where he does his best work when he's playing getting downhill.
Mobley gets downhill and finishes. It's a 24-point Cavs lead, facing a 2-0 series hole.
And it looks as though the Cavs have gone back to their man-to-man defensively, so this is where Halliburton has to be aggressive.
Nembhard can't hit. Nembhard's been terrific in these playoffs, but just 1 of 6 tonight. He had 13 assists in game 2. Garland back ironing off, and a rare defensive rebound from Indiana. Here's Nesmith digging inside and finishing through the contacts. A remarkable difference, and you saw those numbers tonight on the offensive glass with a 23-4 edge. It's second chance points. I mean, just getting back as Strus lays it in. Mobley, Garland, Hunter. Those are 3 of your top 6 players. Those are 2 All-Stars, one of whom's the Defensive Player of the Year, and then also a guy who is a candidate for 6th Man of the Year. Obviously, that's a ridiculous injection of talent.
Then Merrill and Dean Wade to go back to their natural positions where they're not having to be relied upon to be starters.
Nesmith buries the 3. Indiana had missed 13 straight threes before that make. Here's Mitchell in the corner. Connects.
And that was the primary defender on Mobley there, but took a fall in the middle of the painted area.
Here's Siakam. Giving it up. Nesmith. Behind the back. Turner lumbering and laying.
Good to see Turner able to make it through. And Thomas Bryant, who's at the scores table to check in for Turner. James Johnson actually was waving him back. Turner with a huge block on the other end. And right now, it's Miles Turner still gimpy, trying to get up and down the floor, but doing the job on both ends.
Halliburton pops it in.
Miles Turner's not okay, though. He's going to have to come out of this game right now. He's still struggling, even though he's coming up with block shots and buckets.
Strus turns the corner, and Max Strus delivering in game 3 as Mobley soars for the rejection.
And you think you can get it over the top of the Defensive Player of the Year, however.
Of game 3, that is something that obviously would impact the series
while dealing with the injury.
He's had a great postseason. Garland, trade rumors year after year, has performed so well at both ends in these playoffs. And he used a phrase that I thought was so great. Said, as a team, we have elite role clarity. And you've seen that from the connectivity and harmony of Indiana in their march into these Eastern Conference semis and a 2-0 lead.
And you see how important it is for each and every one of the Pacers to play their role. Coming into this game, in the 7 playoff games, they have 5 guys averaging 16 or more points, and here's the role of many of them getting out in transition and making plays. Andrew Nembhard making a miraculous comeback, which they've shown in the last 2 games of the Boston-New York series. And right now for these Cleveland Cavaliers, they want to continue to keep their foot on the gas pedal. They don't want to allow the Pacers to build any momentum here on their home floor.
Indiana on a mini 8-2 run. Jerome and a whistle.
How they're leaving everything on the floor as we see him going to the scorer's table to check in. Now he's leaving everything for this group and excited about what this particular team can do.
Thank you very much, Angel. See Miles Turner going to the scorer's table. Here's Nembhard, another 3. Is good. Indiana showing signs of life in this third, an 11-2 run. Mitchell gets bumped, finishing.
The spike.
Kenny Atkinson always talks about just how elite Donovan Mitchell's fitness, diet, consistency is.
And now Cleveland back to the zone. DeAndre Hunter up front. Of course, an elite defender, but not the difference maker that
this zone forcing them with so much side to side, not able to create the kind of looks they're used to when their offense is in rhythm. As Bryant can't finish, it looked like he might have gotten fouled by Allen.
there was contact on that possession, but when we see it again, we'll notice if Bryant was the one who made the contact, there was no call.
Looked like a good no call.
Agree. That would not be popular here, though.
Yeah,
Glad people in the arena aren't listening to us.
21-point Cavs lead, 6 straight from Cleveland. After Indiana was making a push, Obi Toppin can't get it to drop in. Allen able to muscle the rebound away. His 10th, a double-double for Jarrett Allen. Here's Mitchell in the corner. Can't hit the 3. And so in the history of basketball, that one-handed, left-handed rebound from Allen, boy, the way he has worked on the offensive glass, the way Cleveland as a team has worked on the glass all game long, just felt that desperation, that energy.
The purpose of that, other than to help Cleveland here on our home floor.
Had gotten on an 11-2 run, cut into 15, but Cleveland has responded with a 9-0 run as McConnell ends it there with his jumper. 3:15 to go in the third. Mitchell hops away, dishes out. Mitchell has 27 points in this game. Jerome's shot still has been off. He is 1 of 5. They get 1 of 6 now. McConnell gets fouled.
Everything's on the glass right now, man. They better compete defensively, and their offense take care of itself.
You guys have been in this position before. You guys have a knack for coming back, being down big. What is the necessary things for you to do to close out this game?
Up to start the fourth, thank you, Angel, for Indiana. Here's McConnell.
In a zone defensively, but a different zone, a 2-3 zone right now for the Cavaliers to start this third as they morph it into a man-to-man, but not the same level of length on the floor.
Siakam on the follow, able to finish.
In which, without that length on the floor, no Jarrett Allen and 2 bigs on the floor right now gives an opportunity for Siakam to pick up those second chance points.
Garland buries the 3. Who picked up 4 fouls in the first half, has managed to avoid his 5th so far in the second. Oh, nice dish. Toppin to see.
In field goal attempts. And so you consider that there are 4 guys who have taken Cavaliers, but the first one for Indiana to hit double digits. And by the way, Tyrese Halliburton, only 8 field goal attempts in this game, 2 of 8 from the field.
Here's Garland, first game in 2 weeks. Coming back from the sprained toe, he's looked good. Garland gets pushed
here. I don't believe they're going to get it from Rick Carlisle.
Garland, a minute. In that fourth, the largest lead that Cleveland had was 14 that Indiana came back from to win. Right now, the lead is 18 for the Cavs here in the fourth quarter of Game 3.
I think what's important for the Cavs in this one is to continue to play to win. Play as though the game is 0-0. Don't try to save the lead and become passive.
Toppin finds Siakam. Siakam reversing it in, and Siakam finding some creases through his cuts.
Yeah, great start in this fourth quarter for Siakam, who's starting to find a little bit of rhythm offensively, and that is a welcome sight for the Indiana Pacers, considering that they haven't been able to get much offensively from Siakam throughout this series.
He already has 7 in the quarter. Mobley stood up by Siakam. Great defensive stand there. Here's Allen turning the corner and laying it in. Here's Toppin. Finds the cutter. McConnell has played some big minutes here in the second half.
A number of great cuts as T.J. McConnell is having out with Mark Davis, not getting back on defense on that possession. Thought he should be getting a free throw after the made bucket.
10 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists for McConnell. Hunter back ironing off. Long rebound tracked down by Mitchell. His 8th board to go with his 29 points. Mitchell. Oh, what a move. Kick. Wade. Short.
Great play by Donovan Mitchell. That's one you're begging Dean Wade to knock down the 3 ball after all the work Mitchell did to get him a great look.
Siakam has Garland in the mismatch. Siakam. Crowd wanting a foul, didn't get it. Toppin finds McConnell. He got it. And it is a 14-point game.
And that's been the answer for the Pacers in this fourth quarter thus far.
On the bench, he has struggled tonight. Here's McConnell speeding into the lane. They need it. Siakam has it.
Composure, keep poised. He said, I want to make sure that my core group closes this game, and we have been clutch all season for a reason, wanting that out of this huddle.
Great look there on a nice play. Out of the timeout. Thank you, Angel. Merrill unable to hit the 3. Here's Mitchell.
But that was a smart shot by Merrill for this reason. As second chance points, it was a 3-on-1. So by Merrill taking that 3, he had 2 guys on his team to come up with that offensive rebound, which Donovan Mitchell does, and then, of course, ends up turning it into a bucket.
Here's Mathurin jittering, able to finish. Through the contact, Benedict Mathurin with 22 off the bench. And Rick Carlisle continuing to ride this group of 5 as well.
And Rick Carlisle is going to continue to attack that matchup with Darius Garland, knowing that he's hobbled and playing with 4 fouls.
As Mitchell buries the 3, 34 for Donovan Mitchell. Here's Siakam. Siakam twisting off his leg.
Of this game, he is going to do it in this fourth quarter.
Here's Mitchell. Gets it across the timeline. Mitchell directing traffic. 10 to shoot. The lead is 14 for Cleveland. Mitchell stops, kicks, Strus. You bet. After Indiana had closed to within 11, Mitchell hit a couple 3s, orchestrated it.
Heard the conversation by Todd Jerome. Yeah. It is absolutely a huge night for the University.
Mobley secures the rebound. 6:40 to go in the fourth quarter of game 3. Garland loses it, and he got up. But Mathurin wins it, and Indiana has it. Down 16, still a lot of time left. Toppin, quick move, but couldn't finish it. Mobley able to save it in bounds for Cleveland.
Strong defensive presence by the defensive player of the year right there, guarding off the bounce and then able to affect the shot, but more importantly, come up with the defensive board.
And he's been incredible defensively tonight. Here's Mitchell. Cuts between the D. Mitchell got bumped.
I don't believe that Kenny Atkinson got a good look at that, because as he's talking to Billy Kennedy right now, it's not even something.
And Mitchell, just another excellent playoff performance from Donovan Mitchell. He has 36 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. Halliburton back into the game on a quiet night. Mathurin in and out.
And you mentioned Donovan Mitchell averaging 40.5 points per game in this series, on his way to another 40 ball. 5:50 remaining in this game, and you know we're going to hear a lot from him as this game goes along.
Mitchell veers, floats, can't hit. Poked at a back. Here's Mitchell firing in and out. Neesmith the box out. Nembhard, high steps.
Oh, that's a great. Getting that second delay of game, allowing Donovan Mitchell to get back to the free throw.
Strus battling against the pressure, gets it up to Mitchell. Mitchell soars in, pumps it home. Misses that
List.
40 in the biggest game of the season for Cleveland, facing a 2-0 hole. Their superstar delivers.
And a great play defensively by Donovan Mitchell, getting over and taking away the roller. Not just tagging, but coming up with the steal, running through the passing lane of Miles Turner.
Mitchell soaring in. Miles going to empty the bench. With 5 minutes to go here in game 3, knowing it is
White flag, he's sending a message right now that this game is going to be played physical, that he's going to, that he shows his teammates and the Cleveland Cavaliers what physical is all about.
It's a great point. Donovan Mitchell has 13 of the last.
And I guarantee you, he is not going to leave here with fouls in his pocket.
Kenny Atkinson earlier in the series felt like there was excessive physicality from Indiana. Allen's push shot no good, and Mobley
Out of the game, resting them and making sure they don't get injured. But
and Mobley hits both. A 16-1 Cleveland run. And after Indiana had this building popping and cut it to 11 with 8:22 to go, James Johnson gets tracking data for that goes back to.
And that is one of the reasons that I've said that he's the MVP of this year's season. He won the plus-minus battle. We won't even call it a battle. He won the plus-minus contest by over 300 points to the next best player in the NBA throughout this season. If there's one thing that shows how valuable you are, not just to your team, but to the league, it would be that number.
Here is Mathurin. Pacers getting ready to empty the in this game 3. Here's Mitchell. Mitchell gets fouled again. Times.
Multiply that by 344.
Yeah.
He still isn't comfortable at this. Look at him like, no, and he's saying, go to the bench. Darius walks off the court like the little brother who had made go home from the park. Couldn't stay and play anymore.
Bryant. Mitchell. Mitchell with another 40-plus point performance. 43 so far tonight. Mitchell going for a little more. The kick. Wade. Allen another board. His 12th. Throws it into the back.
Take his starters off the floor.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Strus, 20 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Mobley, 18 and 13. Allen, 19 and 12. Okoro the steal, and he gets fouled.
But in game 3, when it's a must-win game for you,
Atkinson going with 9 with Jerome Hunter, Wade, and Merrill off the bench. And a move that worked for Kenny Atkinson, as did his timing of going zone in that second quarter. Cleveland had jumped out to a 25-10 lead. Indiana stormed back, tied it at 32 at the end of the first. But then Cleveland went zone in the second and totally stymied the Pacers offense, held them to 13 points in the second, outscored them by 21. And the Cavs have controlled the game since.
James Johnson coming up with the block, already getting a bucket earlier on the last possession, showing he can send this roster to be an enforcer. If we saw in game 4, James Johnson getting into.
Brought it up about James Johnson because from the very beginning of this game, him to take over the huddles in moments that are big.
Yeah, Angel, he's one of those coaches on the floor, one of those, culture guys, and Rick Carlisle trusts him tremendously to deliver the proper message to his teammates, and he can deliver it in a manner that's different from the way the coaches can give it to him.
Javonte Green getting some minutes here for Cleveland as they empty the bench. He had to play significant reserve role in game 2 with the bodies that Cleveland was down. That 3 won't go. Final minute and 30 seconds. Teams will play game 4 on TNT Sunday night. Ty Jerome, his shot's still been off tonight, 1 of 7 after he was 1 for 14 in game 2.
I tell you, one guy that will never lose confidence.
Kind of looking at the thumb a little bit, still was able to contribute off the bench and give Cleveland this critical game 3 win.
But the difficult part was done, and that was getting them back on the floor and allowing them to see that they can play with those injuries. Now, the interesting part will be for Darius Garland, seeing how he responds. It's been 2 weeks since he's played basketball, so how does he respond after a rigorous effort here against the pressure of the Indiana Pacers?
Nice take by Porter. Shepherd. Walker will fire a 3 off the mark. Okoro leaking down the floor is nearly fouled by Walker. But Jerome still can't get one to drop. Now 1 of 8. Rebound Javonte Green, and now Cleveland can dribble this in fashion. 120.